Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. As you can see from the title, this is the second part of my Suburban build that I have been working on for my Total Drama Island save. In the beginning here, I'm just putting down some placeholder furniture. This is the reference photo that I forgot to put in the last video, but it's still sort of useful here just so that you can see what I'm doing as I'm placing my placeholder furniture. Oh, and sorry if my voice sounds a little bit off. There's something blooming outside that I am allergic to, and it is making me miserable. So sorry about that. And also sorry that I missed last week. I have been dealing with health issues, obviously, you guys already know, but there's been more in the last couple of weeks. I've had a lot of appointments that I've had to go to. And also, one of my rabbits got sick. He's fine now, but my husband had to stay up literally all night with him, and he didn't sleep at all a couple days ago. And then I had to take care of him all day the next day. Again, he's fine now, but it did mean that I basically lost like 2 whole days where I could have been working on this video, and instead I was feeding my rabbit with a syringe. So, but you know, that's just how it is, you know, with fur babies and animals. You just have to sacrifice for them at times. But yeah, so these are all the bedrooms, and like I said, I just wanted to put some furniture down to sort of feel out the layout of each of those rooms, as well as the living room and the dining room. And then that back corner there on the reference photo, that's supposed to be a pantry, but obviously you don't need a pantry in The Sims, so I turned it into a laundry room instead, which if you download this house from the gallery, you can obviously use this room for whatever you want. I just made it a laundry room because when I play in this save, I am going to use the laundry function, because I'm one of those weirdos that, like, some of my Sims have chores. So it's going to be a laundry room for me. And honestly, I really like decorating laundry rooms, so that'll be really fun for me to do. This video, I don't actually work on the laundry room, the dining room, the living room, or any of the landscaping. I just work on each of the bedrooms because they took me quite a while since there's 4 of them. And then in the next part, that is when I will do the last 3 rooms and then the landscaping as well, just to finish it out. I did not expect this house to be a 3-parter, but I guess it's pretty big, so it makes sense. And I spent a lot of time just sort of figuring out the various vibes of the bedrooms because I wanted them all to be cohesive with each other, but I also wanted them to be distinct and unique enough to sort of represent the people whose rooms they are, you know? So this first bedroom that I'm working on, this is Bridgette and Geoff's bedroom, and it's mostly going to be blue and pink to sort of match their bathroom and also match their aesthetics as characters. And so that is sort of where those pink chairs are coming from. And I know the walls are green, but it's because I wanted to match the pillows on that bed from Seasons, because it's got those like decorative pillows on the back headboard that are green, and I thought it would just feel more, I don't know, balanced with green walls rather than blue walls, with everything else being blue and pink, if that makes sense. And it just felt more like a realistic bedroom for the walls to be an off color like that. And on the nightstands, I ended up putting this lamp that sort of looks like a plant. And then for the curtains, I was really indecisive at first, but I wanted to use blue ones because, again, I didn't do blue on the walls, so blue curtains felt like a good compromise. I used these from Growing Together on the big front window, which I've never used these curtains before because I always feel like the little like pom-pom band bit makes it kind of difficult to match aesthetic wise with other rooms. But I don't know, it sort of worked for this room, I think, because this room, it's kind of bohemian, it's a little quirky. I think it looks good. And yeah, I filled that front window with some plants just to make it feel more full. I didn't do that in the other bedroom with this style of window because it didn't seem like it fit the aesthetic very much. But again, this room is very like bohemian and it belongs to the 2 like outdoorsy Sims, so it just made sense for me to put the plants there. And I almost put that painting above the bed, the one with the like pasture, but then I ended up going with this beachy one instead, because Bridgette's a surfer, and so like, I don't know, it just made more sense to me to do the beachy vibe instead. And I almost put a makeup tray on this dresser before I remembered, like, oh, Bridgette doesn't wear makeup. Like, that's the whole reason I didn't put one in the bathroom either. So, like, why would I put one here? I did do this little candle bowl, though, and I think that looks really cute. And then above that on the wall, I went with these, I think they're snowboards or skateboards, but I don't know. I think it still works, even though neither of them snowboard or skateboard. Again, with the like ocean theme as well. And then on this little wall here, I ended up putting a couple more framed photos just to add a little something, you know, so that this corner didn't feel so bare, because I know it is kind of a weird little wall, but it is in the reference photo, and so I figured I might as well include it, even though it's a little bit strange. This other front bedroom, this belongs to LeShawna, and so I went with a yellow, black, and gray color scheme, just to sort of give it, obviously LeShawna wears yellow, and so I wanted to like balance that, but also I feel like her aesthetic is so like luxurious and sort of ritzy, and I think that yellow and black is one of those color combinations where it's like really easy to make that aesthetic work, especially because I have this bed from the university pack and it's got that like tufted headboard, and I just thought like, okay, yeah, this is the bed, it's perfect. And then after that, everything sort of just fell into place because I had to match like the color of the wood on the bed with all of the other furniture, and so all of the like the nightstands, the dresser, the little end table at the end of the bed, all of it ended up matching that headboard color, so that worked out really well. It was really easy. I did put a makeup tray in here because LeShawna does wear makeup, or at least my version of LeShawna does. No, I know she does, and I gave her a perfume tray and some nail polish as well because she is a glam girly, and I used this wicker mirror from Growing Together as well, just because it again matched the like ritzy aesthetic of it all. I am surprised at how much Growing Together I actually used in this build because it's very eclectic. There's a lot of pieces in that pack that are really fun, they're really cute, but they don't really match literally anything else. But there are some individual pieces that when you combine them with pieces from other packs, they really work, and I think that mirror is one of those. I used those chairs from Horse Ranch, which this is the first time I've used those chairs. I didn't even realize that they had this like cream swatch, but I think they look absolutely gorgeous with all of the yellow in the room. It makes sense. I ended up doing a gray throw rug underneath the bed because I didn't want to have too much yellow and I wanted to bring in more black and gray pieces, and so that's why I went with that. And then I got distracted and I ended up throwing some decoration in the kitchen really quick because I was like, I'm like looking at clutter, I might as well like pull these out while they're right in front of me. And I did take a little break after I finished LeShawna's room to actually add some more clutter on the counters in the kitchen. You'll see what I'm talking about, but I just needed to pull those out right when they were in front of me, you know. I didn't want to like make a mental note and then completely forget like, I wanted to do the olive jar or whatever, and then I would forget. I know I would forget. I almost did those curtains on the window, but it looked weird to me with the short curtain rod that didn't go across the whole window. So I ended up going with these wider ones instead, and I think it looks fine. And then for this small window, I just did some shorter curtains. I almost didn't put any curtains on that window at all, but it felt too bare for there to not be any, if that makes sense. It just didn't make sense without some sort of curtain. And I put these string lights on the wall, which usually I don't put the string lights in rooms that are for adults, but I think there are some Sims that it just makes sense and it fits their aesthetics. So went with that. And then on this far wall, I knew I needed some sort of decoration because it was super bare. And I almost went with this framed photo, but then I noticed when you size it up, the shadows look very strange, and so didn't do that. I've done that in some of the builds that I've made for myself because sometimes it's easy to ignore, but if I'm going to upload this to the gallery for you guys, I don't want to have something like that in there. That's kind of annoying. So I ended up going with that framed map instead. And yeah, here's my quick little kitchen hiatus where I just added some clutter and some small appliances. I wanted to use this tea bag rack, and so I placed the tea maker, I placed the coffee maker, just to make the tea bag rack make sense. I don't know why I wanted it so badly. I don't know, it's cute. And I put a paper towel roll, some dish racks, that sort of thing. This bedroom here in the middle is going to be Gwen's. So I had a lot of fun doing this bedroom. The color scheme is sort of black, gray, purple with some blue in there. And I almost did the walls like a straight black, but there really wasn't one that I liked. So I ended up going with this dark gray instead, which honestly I think makes more sense. There aren't a lot of people who want to have black walls in their bedroom in real life, so I don't know, the gray felt more realistic. And I did this upright wardrobe for her rather than a dresser, just to fit the space a little bit better because it's a little bit smaller. It's got the smaller footprint, and I don't know, I thought it made sense with this room also having one of those walls that sort of pokes out from the door, so there's like a separate dressing space almost, even though the room is really small. I gave her a little reading corner with some books on her nightstand, and then I ended up putting an armchair in the corner across from there just so that she can have a little cozy space to herself. I had a hard time picking an armchair. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do black or purple, and I also almost put a rocking chair in here, but then I thought it wouldn't fit. It was gonna have too big of a footprint, so I ended up going with this black armchair instead of the rocking chair, and I think it looks fine. For curtains in here, this is where I was like, oh yeah, I can use like the ones from the Paranormal Stuff pack. Like, maybe it's a little bit too obvious giving the goth girl the Paranormal Stuff pack curtains, but they match her room, so like I kind of have to, right? And then on this back wall, I wasn't exactly sure what to put here because obviously Gwen has a lot of like romantic sensibilities, and that her like goth style is kind of, you know, like romantic goth, a little bit mall goth, and she's also into like poetry and music, but I ended up going with that like snowy landscape just because it sort of, I think, works with her sensibilities, if that makes sense, because she is a romantic goth. She doesn't need anything super ooky spooky on her wall. She just needs something sort of sad, dreary, melancholy, but also really beautiful. And so I think that snowy landscape works. I added a runner on these other two bits of the hallway that I didn't do before for some reason. And then this back room here is Izzy's, and this was so fun, but also so challenging because obviously Izzy's like, she's the quirky girl. She's a little bit nuts. And so I wanted it to be super fun and lighthearted, and I used a lot of greens and yellows just to have it be sort of like fresh and fun. But it was still difficult because I felt like I was still trying to curate an aesthetic of, you know, an adult's bedroom. It's Izzy's bedroom, but she's an adult. She needs to have like an aesthetic that makes sense. I can't just be putting random objects in here, you know? And so I spent probably way longer on this room than I needed to, but I think it turned out okay in the end. Instead of one rug, I ended up going with 3 rugs that I like sized up and down to make them fit. And I think that sort of adds to this like quirky, crazy vibe. Because I could have done just one rug, but where's the fun in that, you know? So I did these 3 ones instead. And I love that they're all like patterned too. They're all like the same color scheme, but the various patterns I think makes it really fun. Some yellow curtains to contrast with the walls. And then I remembered that I made my Izzy have the like Master of Mischief or whatever it's called aspiration. And so I wanted to give her a computer desk because there wasn't one in the rest of the house. I might put one in the living room, I'm not sure. But it's something that's really useful for the mischief aspiration is to have a computer desk. One of my favorite interactions they can do with the computer is, I think it's like troll the forums or whatever, and it increases their mischief skill. And It's just really useful. It gets their fun up, their mischief skill goes up really fast. It's great. So I wanted her to have a computer to do that with, and I almost went with a bigger desk, but there wasn't enough room. All of these rooms I've play tested to make sure that all of the furniture is accessible, and with that larger desk, it wasn't actually accessible, and so I went with this smaller desk instead so that she can actually get around and use it. The walls were tricky. I put those cupcakes on that one wall because I just think they're really cute, and then I did these like the framed animal portraits on this front wall, and I don't really know why other than that I liked the color scheme and thought it was cute. And then I did this plumb bob poster above the headboard. And after that, I just added some clutter, and that was it. That was Izzy's bedroom. Next time, like I said, I'm going to do all of the other rooms inside and the landscaping, so tune in for that next week, hopefully, or maybe the week after. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week, but in the near future is when I will be doing the rest of this house. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Give me a like if you liked it. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram if you so choose. Subscribe to me here, subscribe to me on my essay channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!